She even showed up to one party one time, and
Your mom?
Yeah, and I was DJing a set, and I was like toking on a cigarette, and somebody comes up like in a hoodie and rips the cigarette out of my hand, and she's just glaring at me. I'm like, is that a homeless person? Like, what? Who is that? And I look closer, and it's my mom just scowling.
What's up guys, Celine from Sidewalk Talk, and today we are with one half of Arnold Lane, and this is Arnold.
Hey.
I'm gonna start out with, so you grew up in Los Angeles, you're a local native here. Would love to hear more about your childhood and how it was growing up.
Yeah, so I was born out here in LA. I grew up in like the Calabasas area, Los Angeles, and it was a pretty normal childhood. just kind of hung out, and I started playing music when I was really young, and yeah, I've lived out here my whole life.
How did you start getting into electronic music?
So my background actually started with like rock bands.
Oh.
So before electronic music, I started playing guitar, I started playing drums, and I actually ended up going to college for like jazz drumming.
Oh wow.
And did that whole thing for a while, and it was in college. Well, that's not necessarily true, but when I discovered it, I like to say it was in college, but like the first EDM artist I found was deadmau5, and that was in like 2009. I went to college in 2012. Huge. And like that, but I didn't really like register that as like electronic music because I didn't know anything about it, because like I only knew a few of the songs. I kind of thought they were more pop. Started hanging out with a lot of guys who were making beats and DJing, and then that's when I kind of fell into love of like electronic music and started finding artists like, it was like the big ones like Skrillex and Zedd and all those, and that's kind of what got me into electronic music. I think Skrillex especially, just because his stuff was like a lot more, I felt like rock and roll.
Got it.
Kind of, because of the like heavy drums and the bass and
yeah. And were you in the band in college, high school?
Yeah, I was in a grunge rock band.
What was it called?
It was called Refrain.
Refrain.
And then another punk band called Fallujah 71.
Oh wow. So you eventually transitioned out of punk rock and got into more
electronic. Yeah.
And
I completely
when did you start?
stopped playing my instruments, which is gnarly. But
when did you start wanting to produce?
I started wanting to produce like seriously. It was like around 2013, 2014. Because at the time, I think I was like really inspired by the low end theory movement.
Okay.
That unfortunately that club is still closed or closed down, but it was like the Flying Lotus and Great Dane and get like stuff like that kind of music, and like that really inspired me to like learn Ableton. So I took a class, and then it was right around 2013, 2014 when I started actually producing, because I just DJ'd. That was like my thing for a long time, is I just DJ'd.
Yeah.
And I didn't even think of opening up Ableton or Logic, or I just didn't know how.
So you were DJing music first, and then you transitioned to
into producing. Yeah.
Were you DJing at like college parties or?
Yeah, it was.
Frat parties?
No frat parties. They were just straight college parties. But I had a blast doing it because I was able to like bring a lot of the music that was happening out here. So like that West Coast low end theory, like LA bass beats. I was like playing all that stuff out on the East Coast. It was stuff that people hadn't heard, so it was super awesome.
Where did you go to college?
Berkeley School of Music in Boston. Yeah.
And when did you really start getting serious about it?
Honestly, I started getting serious about it when I moved in with Lane.
Oh, how did you guys meet?
We worked at the same job. We like both started the same day at this vape company.
Were you guys selling vapes, or?
We were packing and shipping orders in a warehouse.
And you met him, and then you guys decided to move in together?
Yeah, we actually initially bonded over like our shared love of Night Bass, the record label.
Yeah.
was like, he was like playing something. I'm like, is that AC Slater? And he was like, yeah, do you like night bass? I'm like, fuck yeah, I do. And then that, like, you know, sparked our friendship with
wow. And
the common love of EDM.
Was he already DJing as well on the side?
Yeah, he has a way bigger history of DJing than I do, which I can let him tell you about. But yeah, he had been producing and DJing a lot longer than me. We spent like a few days trying to figure out a name, because what happened was we got this song signed.
Oh.
And I mean, maybe I'm not remembering the story right, but if I remember correctly, we didn't have a name yet, but we had the track signed. And so we were like trying to figure out a name, and it was like days of like, what about this? What about that? And like, we just thought they sounded lame, and then we were just like, why don't we just use our names, like Arnold and Lane?
What were the top choices? I'm just curious.
I don't even remember, to be honest, but they were bad. They were bad.
It. And so did you guys start playing at clubs and like at events, or after the first record was signed, or how did that go about in terms of like starting off your career?
So it was like a slow burn, you know. At first it was just, we were signing tracks to like smaller labels and just trying to get our foot in the door. And you know, our goal was just putting out music consistently to get our name out there. So we didn't really play many shows for the first year or so, because we hadn't really networked yet or whatever, but we started putting out music on labels, like smaller labels, and then, you know, you start to build up relationships within the community through Facebook, and so we started meeting people, and then eventually, like, we started to get small shows, and, you know, Space Yacht was one of the first club gigs we played.
Was it at Sound?
At Sound,
yeah. Oh, nice. I may have been there.
That was one of our first gigs, and then from there on, it was just, you know, going out, meeting people. We met our manager. He would introduce us to people, and then things started building.
When you guys work together, are there a lot of like differences, or do you guys work really well together?
We're very lucky.
Oh wow.
I'll say. I mean, we've been best friends for so long that I think there's that. I mean, we have already that mutual respect for each other, you know.
Yeah.
And just like we know each other too well to like really get into arguments, I feel.
So are you doing Arnold and Lane full time?
No, we're not doing Arnold and Lane full time right now. I guess I still work a day job.
In what industry?
We work in I work in the drug and alcohol treatment field.
Okay.
Yeah, so I work at a treatment center in Malibu. The focus is on, you know, addiction treatment and getting people clean. And
is it like a rehab where they live there?
Yeah.
What are some crazy things that have happened?
Crazy things that have happened at a rehab center. We see people get high while in treatment, overdose, get in people's faces. People have died.
From overdosing?
Yeah, that's a thing.
In rehab?
In rehab, yeah.
How do they get their hands on stuff?
As a drug addict, you're pretty crafty, you know. I think.
What was the most unique method that you've seen?
I've seen people, like, they get drugs like delivered down the street and then hide it up themselves, and yeah.
What are some of the challenges you guys are facing right now?
In COVID?
For your music.
I think the biggest challenge right now is like the lack of playing shows, the lack of, that's the biggest one.
Yeah.
Just because, you know, you go to a show and you see an artist you like, and then you leave inspired, you know, because you'll go to the club and you'll hear all this music you've never heard.
You're not able to do that.
It'll make you want to go, you know, make music, and I think that's been really hard, is not being in that environment.
Yeah. What are up and coming projects for you guys?
Up and coming projects. Well, there's a lot in the pipeline right now with different labels, some stuff that we can't talk about, but some big stuff, and we're just making music constantly. We just had an edit of Fat Joe, Lean Back, that just came out on our SoundCloud, and that's it. We're just in the lab creating, you know. Can't stop.
Awesome. And what do you want to be remembered for?
To be remembered for? That's a good question. I guess just our music, making people happy, you know?
Yeah, I feel like music brings so many people together, so it's always a connection.
Exactly.
Okay, so first question is, are you a roly-poly or an ollie?
A what?
A roly-poly or an ollie?
What's an ollie?
I have no idea.
Probably a roly-poly. I don't know what an ollie is, but you know, roly-polies are cool. They like roll around and do their thing, you know?
Okay, and then who are some of your biggest influences in the realm of music, any genre?
Any genre. I think my biggest influence just in like bands and stuff is Trent Reznor from Nine Inch Nails.
Okay.
Just because he was like, I mean, he was an early pioneer of electronic music, I feel like, and just he's super dope. And then influences in our genre, I think, be like Walker and Royce, Chris Lake, Franklin Watts, Steady Rock, all those guys, the Dirtybird guys.
Yeah. What are 3 words that you would use to describe Taylor?
3 words to describe Taylor. I'd say charismatic. Sometimes I'm trying to think of the best way to put this. So charismatic, eccentric, and downright hilarious.
Those are good ones. Those are good ones. And 3 things you would tell yourself 3 years ago.
1 would probably be to keep working hard. 2, you know, your success is a choice, so don't give up. And 3, like, don't let the rejections get you down, because you know, there's been multiple times where you get in a funk because someone says no, but the reality of it is that's going to happen every day, you know?
Yeah, it's very true. It's just not the right fit sometimes. And Baby Yoda or Adult Yoda?
Baby Yoda or what?
Adult Yoda.
Probably Adult Yoda, because I grew up with Adult Yoda.
Makes sense. I know. Baby
And I
Yoda's
haven't seen The Mandalorian either, so I don't know anything about Baby Yoda, but definitely Adult Yoda.
Cool. And then, what has been the most difficult parts of your partnership together?
Oh man, you know, like, I know someone was probably looking for juice here, but there really hasn't been anything difficult. I feel like I'm boring like that, but you know, like, you know, it's not often in life you find a friend, you know, who you're so close with and so much alike with. And I think that's why there hasn't been any really difficulties, because like we just know each other so well. There's really good communication, and it's like always fun working together. I mean, yeah, we've had our difficulties, I think, in the beginning, finding like our workflow was, I think, the biggest difficulty. But once that happened, it's all good.
And how long have you guys known each other for now?
Like probably 5 years.
5 years.
5 years. Been making music for 3 together, I think, 3 years.
And packing vapes for 2.
Packing vapes. That was like a 6-month stint for me.
6 months stint. Great. Well, thank you for having the interview with us. And next up, I also have Taylor. Hey guys, Celine at Sidewalk Talk, and now we are here with Taylor from Arnold Lane. If you want to start out by telling us how it was growing up in Santa Barbara.
Santa Barbara was nice. It was a small town, and we got the mountains, we got the ocean. It definitely nurtured me as a musician and DJ. I started really young. I started when I was 16 years old as a mobile DJ.
Oh.
Yeah, and a guy named Gavin Roy took me under his wing and taught me everything and threw me into the swing of like corporate events and quinceañeras and Sweet 16s. And growing up, we also had Isla Vista close by, so me and my friends we would like throw the like mega parties, and that's where I got to learn a lot of like what I wanted to play, and played a lot of electronica, a lot of hip hop, and it was fun. same with the club scene. It was pretty cool. I got a couple residencies, and it was a perfect place to grow up.
How did you learn about electronic music?
That's a good question. I remember hearing it through just various friends, and I remember like listening to like ATB and like techno stuff.
Old school.
Yeah.
Trance.
And it kind of blew me away, and then stopped listening to it for a bit, and I heard like Justice and Mastercraft and Alan Brax, and blew me away once again. And then I heard dubstep, like old school, like roller dub, like from the UK, like Mala, and it blew my mind again. And I was kind of all over the place playing like all types of electronica, trying to find what fit for me.
Did your parents support you becoming a DJ?
Yeah, they actually really did. My stepdad, he actually bought all my gear and really enabled me to take it to the next level. And my mom supported me. She'd always give me shit though for going out to IV and playing, playing these parties. And she even showed up to one party one time, and
your mom?
Yeah, and I was DJing a set, and I was like toking on a cigarette, and somebody comes up like in a hoodie and rips the cigarette out of my hand, and she's just glaring at me. I'm like, is that a homeless person? Like, what? Who is that? And I look closer, and it's my mom just scowling, just like. And I got home, and she gave me shit for smoking, but yeah, she's always been supportive.
How old were you at this time?
I was like probably like 18, 19.
And she showed up really discreetly so that no one knew that it was a mob. Like, what?
Yeah, she found the address on Facebook because that's where the promo used to be, and she showed up.
That's smart. At least she was like, low key about it. I feel like other parents would like throw in a fit or something, and like throw you off the stage.
She was chill. She was chill.
And when did you start producing your own music?
I started producing kind of soon after, actually a little bit before DJing, but not seriously. Just kind of experimenting with Pro Tools and GarageBand, and then DJing and discovering electronic music really kind of launched me into a quest to learn how to produce. Electronic music kind of reinvigorated that motivation. And then right when I was like 18, 19, 20 or something, everybody started DJing because technology started advancing and it was more accessible. And suddenly like DJing like wasn't as cool anymore, and I thought that I wanted to take my art to the next level, and that was through production. I wanted to be respected as an artist, so I guess I've been doing it for like 15 years.
When did you move out to LA?
Moved out to Westlake, which is like outside of LA, about 6 years ago.
And how did you and Arnold meet?
We met at a online vape store actually, and we were like packaging vapes and doing marketing and stuff, and I remember the conversation came up where we both enjoyed electronica, and subjects like Night Bass and Dirtybird came up, and we really identified with those two labels and shared a commonality. He had experience with DJing, so did I, and some production, and yeah, hit it off.
I actually did get the story from Arnold, but was just checking the consistency.
Was it the same?
it was more or less the same. Okay. Yeah. What was your first impression of him?
I thought initially he was kind of a strange human, and I guess we were in the office and we'd put on Justin Timberlake and he'd start dancing all crazy, and I was like, all right, just someone I could truly identify with. And yeah, I don't know, our personalities definitely complement one another. We're like polar opposites.
I feel like you're more extroverted.
Yeah, that's right.
I could see that.
That's totally right.
And then what are some struggles that you have faced as a music producer?
A lot of self-doubt and like the negative emotions that come with like comparing yourself to others, and I don't know, the struggles of like this, you get this mania from like producing music and getting on this high, and then suddenly you'll crash, and I don't know, it's just this constant push-pull. But yeah, definitely self-doubt, because I'm definitely going against the grain in a sense, like to my parents' dismay. They're like, maybe you should have finished school. And I didn't finish school.
What was your major?
It was business, but this is what I love to do, and I just want to give it the best I got before throwing in the towel, just to see
where it goes.
Yeah, and I'm like the happiest I've ever been creating. So it's like,
it's amazing.
Yeah.
Are you doing this full time?
No, Arnold and I both work in healthcare.
Oh, you guys work together too?
No, we work at similar jobs, but different places, different companies.
So are you also in drug and rehab?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's right. Yeah, we work at drug and alcohol rehabilitation facilities.
Was this a coincidence, or was this on purpose?
I don't know. It's just, we're also, as Arnie probably already told you, we're both sober, so.
He didn't actually.
He didn't?
No. Do you want to talk more about that?
Oh, shit, no! Well.
Now you're stuck for the.
Yeah, right. Well, that was another commonality that we shared, and we're both retired. And polls. And we kind of like gravitated towards each other through sobriety, and we share that in common.
What made both of you guys decide to go sober?
I don't know, we just saw, like, both of us personally with different stories, but like it wasn't working for us. I was always like a bedroom producer, like with big dreams, but I could never like translate anything to the next step, and it was counterproductive, I guess. So decided to cut it out. It wasn't serving us anymore. And ever since then we've been able to finish projects, sign tracks, get shit done. And I don't know, we get a new sense of fulfillment, like just being present.
Yeah. And how many years have you guys been sober for?
I think Arnie around 6 or over 6 years, and I'm over 6.5 years sober.
That's impressive. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That is a feat. How was your partnership with Arnold when you guys first started? Were there any disagreements, or you guys were just smooth flowing?
It was really hard, to be honest. I'm used to just doing it all by myself, and in a partnership there's compromise, and naturally Arnie and I see things differently, but I think it's also our biggest strength is that we see things differently. But in the beginning it was really hard to like surrender to one another's ideas. And it was really hard for the creative flow too. We didn't really have a system in place.
I see.
So it was hard to create together in the beginning, but then suddenly like something clicked. I don't know, it's like we found a certain system that works for us. We switch off on projects, and yeah, thankfully it works today.
How long did it take for you guys to get there?
I'd say probably a year.
Oh, wow. It's a lot of working on it.
Yeah, totally. We're best friends. We live together, make music together, hang out together, eat together.
Basically do everything together.
Yeah, we're besties. We're very close.
Butt buddies. What are some of your upcoming projects?
What did Arnie tell you?
He just said that you guys have some cool things.
Yeah, yeah, we got
cool people.
some really exciting stuff. Probably the most exciting news of our career coming very soon. And
he downplayed it a little bit.
Well, we're over the moon. We are over the moon about it, and it's just fun. It's just like really cool that if you persist. Just keep going and going. And we failed 1,000 times, but it's cool that it's finally paying off.
That's awesome. Where do the names of your songs come from? Like, what's the inspiration behind that?
Typically, it's usually like something that's in the hook, or something that's repeated over and over and over again. We're not too eclectic with our names. It's really just like, I don't know, whatever the lyrics are saying. It's kind of shallow, but straight to the point, you know?
And the lyrics, where do the lyrics come from?
Arnie and I like to think we are vocalists, but we're really not. So we challenge ourselves in writing lyrics and raps and stuff. And sometimes, like 1 in a million, it'll hit. And yeah.
And a last question for you. What do you want to be remembered for?
This is a very difficult question. I would like to be remembered for creating good art and bringing happiness into people's lives through music, and just being a good guy, I guess, being helpful. Yeah.
Are you a roly, poly, or an oly?
Ooh. Oh. What kind of question? That is very interesting. I want to be a roly-poly, like one of those little bugs that you can. It's in a little circle.
Exactly
you roll
what
in
you
a
said
circle.
too.
Yeah.
Who are some of your biggest influences in the realm of music, any genre?
I love Steely Dan. Steely Dan, I think, is my all-time favorite band. Walker and Royce, Chris Lake, Chris Lorenzo, Geode, Komodo, a lot of classic rock, a lot of disco. Yeah.
You guys both have very similar answers.
Yes.
What's next for you guys?
What's
already asked, but if you wanna.
What's next is hopefully society will get a little better, and the pandemic will ease off, and hopefully we can get to a spot where we're safe enough to play shows again. We really want to continue releasing great music and inspiring people, so we're just gonna keep going, keep making music.
Baby Yoda or adult Yoda?
Adult Yoda.
What are 3 words to describe Arnold?
Ooh. Unique, driven, and beautiful.
He's gonna see this later and be like, what?
Yeah, he's really pretty.
That's gonna be funny. And what are 3 things you would tell yourself 3 years ago?
There's going to be a gnarly pandemic, so just prepare yourself emotionally and mentally for that, and just to keep going despite whatever challenges or obstacles happen.
Well, thank you for jumping on this with me, and we'll see you next time, Sidewalk Talk. Bye!
Peace.